Hey, welcome back, one and all, to the TFL Podcast. You're here with Rowan the Boat and Arch, and we are here to talk everything DFS for Week 10 of the NFL. We are pumped. Mate, it's good to be back.
Oh, mate, look, it's been a week. Looking forward to after, a real weird week, wasn't it? Like, let's be honest.
It was the weirdest.
So I am looking forward to having a new main slate to attack this week for sure.
That's the best thing about DFS, right? You can just put aside everything that was Week 9. I mean, look, let's face it. Everyone was taken aback by what happened on Week 9. It's just epitomised by the Jacksonville-Buffalo game. Jacksonville beat Buffalo 9-6. No touchdowns scored. Thank you very much. Gosh, like that was just a joke, wasn't it? Absolute joke. And
Football
DFS
was not the winner that day.
No, not at all. DFS lineups were just totally screwed from the get-go, I think, with that one. But hey, look, we're back. Week 10, I'm really excited about this slate. Yes. I think that's a really nice place here that we can jump in. So thank you, everyone, for joining us. You can catch us on Facebook, Twitter, YouTube. We have a Patreon at the TFL Podcast and a website, thetflpodcast.com. If you are watching YouTube right now, then like and subscribe. And if you have done those things, then tell other people to like and subscribe and get this happening. Because guess what?
Thumbs up button, click that.
Exactly.
Then click the little red subscribe thing. It's really easy. A couple clicks. And
Not
then
hard
ignore us if you want. We just want the clicks.
Yeah, that's right.
If I'm honest.
That's it. But hey, it's a big week in Australia, in Australian DFS, because this is DraftKings' final weekend in Australia.
And to celebrate, we got our contract termination papers emailed. Yes. We are no longer affiliates of DraftKings.
Yeah, that's it. And look, we'll mention some DraftKings today, but look, DraftStars is where it's at. In Australia right now, and that is the main way that we're going to play. And I hope that everyone that's listening, everyone that's out there that did play on DraftKings, come over to DraftStars. Don't just neglect it, because trying to play in the States is crazy. But let's jump into DraftStars, because I think it's going to make it bigger. The more that jump over, the bigger the prize pools, the better.
That's what we want.
The better the games. So let's do that. That'd be great. Also, 5-star reviews, much appreciated, and share us around. The Discord chat's going off, Arch. Really appreciate the Discord, boys. It's been good fun.
It is great.
It's been great, and and so Chew Man, the person that's watching, you can everyone, you can, if you watch us live, right? We record mostly 8:30 p.m. Australian Central Daylight Savings Time. And you can leave little comments, and you can have little digs, like old Chewy here, that's having a little go at Arch, because he says, will the Vikings ever unseat the mighty Packers? And I guess the answer at the moment is no.
No, it's not going well. But hey, you've had Rodgers for how many years and how many Super Bowls you've got with him. So, there's always that. So
yeah, that's right. Oh, he keeps firing, old Chewy. He's getting some airtime tonight. Will Philly ever get a starter-worthy quarterback? Yeah. And look, Jalen Hurts, don't totally hate on him just yet, but he's not looking like he's going to take us to a Super Bowl or anything.
Yeah, get rid of him.
Hey, look, 3 top 15 draft picks next draft, so I'll take that. That's for sure. Arch, how was Week 9 for you? Let's have a quick review.
Yes, we no one had. This is where I love the Discord. We're all just filthy together.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, like so many weird plays.
Tilting all over the shop.
So much tilt. So many threats of leaving the Discord, I might admit. Including from myself, though, as well. It wasn't good. But look, looking over my teams, though, I felt my process was good, and I had good picks with good roster, like, ownership. It just didn't fire. Like, it just didn't work. I had a late surge on a Herbert Allen stack that was very under-owned. So, in my 10 entry mini, half of them were Herbert stacks, and I think that was a good move considering the ownership, how it fell out in the end. And Allen was under owned, and so he had a decent game.
Yeah.
Unfortunately, I think 3 or 4 of those Herbert stacks had Eckler in it, and that was a lot of salary for not many points. So just didn't work out that well. But play a little bit of cash on the side, head-to-heads and 6-mans, sort of made it, lighten the damage, I should say.
Oh, good stuff. That's
because
good.
everyone had a bad week.
Yeah, that's it. Everyone did. Seriously. You come across Eckler in a head-to-head, you're like, oh, and you didn't? No worries. Not a problem. I think that was really the interesting thing. Same for me. I was really unsure about how to tackle Week 9. And Seamoz here jumps in and says, was Week 9 worse than COVID? Probably, he says.
I mean, can't argue with it. Facts,
We'll leave that there. But yeah, it was one of those weeks. I think one of the things I'm learning as I've gone on, like my process has probably changed as things have gone, and not willingly. I think I get sucked into like, this stack could work or this stack could work. And last week I really did. I spread myself way too thin on stacks, and I played like 50 cent lineups, and I put in probably about 9 or 10 different stacks in that space.
Wow.
And like that was just silly.
9 different quarterbacks?
Yeah, that's it.
Ooh.
Like that's it. I spread myself way too thin. I thought about all the potential. So this week my goal is to really refine that. Pick about 4 or 5 quarterbacks that I'm happy to play in that 50 and really push through on making better decisions with my player pool. So keen to attack the slate tonight and kind of go through some of the picks that I'm really keen on. And yeah. But yeah, last week weird that you really had to have Herbert or Jackson to hit through and cash. I guess Marquise Brown was decent. Mark Andrews didn't probably live up to what you wanted from him either. So yeah, it's been fun. It's been a fun week, but I'm keen to move on to week 10. All right, the TFL boys are just spamming the chat over here.
Yes.
So we've got a
takeover.
Let's entertain for a little bit before we jump into the DFS world.
Drogy, reigning champion.
That's it. Where is he on the ladder now, though?
I don't know.
Last. Absolute bloody last.
But he does deserve a ring presentation. And look, I don't work with the guy anymore and don't have access to a 3D printer for free. So I'm not 3D printing a championship ring for him. So he's going to have to suck it now. So, maybe get a burger ring and spray paint it gold and let that sort of sit well with you. And then we got Blommy.
Georgie? How's that?
Yeah, take that medicine. What's Blommy on about?
I'm playing him in the TFL,
okay,
our home league this week. So he wants a big shout out if he wins on the next pod. But guess what, Blommy, you're not going to win. So bad luck. It's going to be me. I'm just going to tell you that now. Anyway,
old Blommy. If you remember who Blommy is,
the Chancellor.
He's the guy that still. Well done.
Yeah, it's all sitting here. Just throws in a trade, then withdraws it, cancels the trade left, right, and centre. Haven't seen too many of them this year coming my way though.
Bit quiet on the trade front, or Blommy. At least with us on the other side of the oval.
Anyway, but yeah, I think the quarterback player pool with DFS is a really important one, and it's something I've over the last few weeks have been quite deliberate in trying to stick to. In the micros where I was mass entering 4 or 5.
Yeah.
And then one, just got to propose a trade by dropping the F-bomb. Watch this get withdrawn.
Man, this is what you get for a live stream, hey? Everything's happening.
Just completely sandbag the pod. That's great.
Well, let's get on to the main slate. Let's figure out who these
you
quarterbacks are.
You don't want to hear my point that I was going to make?
No. Okay. No, you make the point.
No,
Sorry.
Well, the idea I think with limiting your player pool. So, for instance, a 10 entry mini, I'm thinking 2 quarterbacks, and I think if you spread yourself too thin, the idea of you hitting all those one-offs, the probabilities are a lot lower. Whereas if you concentrate on your stacks on 2 stacks with 5 entries, you can rotate through those one-offs, and there's more likely one of them will hit, rather than it's like random darts getting thrown everywhere. Whereas if you concentrate that player pool, feel like you've got a bit more concentrated. Am I making much sense there, Ron?
No, for sure. I hear. I think that it means you either hit big or hit well, or you don't, and that's just kind of DFS for you. You want to make sure the weeks that you do well, and your process works, that you're getting the most out of that.
All right. This is going to be a treat for the boys, isn't it?
Yeah. Big time.
Oh! Yeah! We're getting a preview time. DFS time!
Always my favourite part of the show.
Yes.
Always.
A little bit of something extra there for everyone.
That's it. Love it. I just imagine all these guys in the TFL just having a little watch party. They're all together.
Yeah,
hilarious. And they're going to enjoy that little arch moment all together. That'd be great. Oh, dear. Thursday Night Football coming at us quickly.
Yep.
Arch, you and I like to put in a little showdown line each, do a bit of a head-to-head. We threw those together earlier today. We've got Miami taking on Baltimore.
Yes.
Here's what we've got. If you're looking at YouTube, you can see the lineups on the screen there. And Arch, run us through your lineup while the TFL boys all sit at a table together. And
we are actually sitting at a table together, they're saying. So anyway, this is actually a little bit boring for people listening on the pod. So we'll actually just let them alone and just keep tugging each other off on that table. So what do we got here? So Baltimore, Miami, what are your thoughts on this game, old Rosalind?
Look, we've got Brissett potentially starting. Tua is dealing with a niggling finger injury, so he's a game-time decision, which we all love to see. Not. So it's a bit of an interesting one, but I'm going with Brissett being the quarterback, and we know that he loves to check it down, so I'm a big fan of Myles Gaskin in this game. Brissett was the quarterback against Tampa Bay when Gaskin had that massive 10-reception game and really made the most of those jet sweeps and all that kind of stuff, like moving around in the backfield. And so Myles Gaskin, I'm a big fan of here. Brissett, I think, makes the most of that. I also like the underneath stuff, and we know that Baltimore have been rubbish against tight ends this year. And Miami like to use multiple tight ends. You know, Gesicki's clearly the number one tight end. So I love Gesicki in this spot. I think he's a definite shot for a touchdown. I think he's the guy that's going to get peppered. He's shown to be this number 2 in targets. Devontae Parker's on IR. So you really got Waddle and Gesicki. I don't mind Waddle. He's getting those soft underneath throws as well. But Gesicki, I think, for his price on DraftStars is my favorite at 11,000. Waddle's, I think, 12,300 or something like that, a little bit higher up. So Gesicki's there for me as well. So I've got a Brissett, Gesicki, Gaskin on the Miami side, and Mark Andrews and Lamar. I think you have to play Lamar. I just don't know if you can.
Yeah, that's 100% ownership. Maybe just throw in one out of your 15 in case he's injured. I don't know.
Yeah, that's the only reason you would.
Even then, look, if he gets injured, I'll wear it.
Yeah, I think everyone would. They have to. They will. So yeah, that's for me. I've gone the method of chucking in mostly high price players and a one really cheapie, and based on Baltimore's, I guess, run with not doing well against tight ends, I've thrown in Durham Smythe there. He's a guy that can get 2 or 3 catches in a game for 20 to 30 odd yards, and I think that's enough at his price. He's priced at 3,000 on DraftStars, and I think if he can provide something like that, and hey, maybe he hits the end zone as well as that's kind of what you search for here in these showdown slates. Either way, he's enough salary relief, I think, to play enough of the bigger guys up the top. So Durham Smythe's my cheeky bottom end dart throw there.
Yeah.
What about you, Ash? Talk us through your lineup.
Yeah, just on that, we have seen over a lot of the showdowns, if you pick that secondary tight end that hits pay dirt, like you're laughing and you're straight up the leaderboard, aren't you? Like my best lineup had bloody Swaim the other week. So
yes, that's it.
Yeah, look, I've gone probably a little bit chalky and picturing the game. Like I guess when I make my showdowns, I've tried to tell myself a story about how I think the game's going to go. And if you look at my lineup, Baltimore give Miami an absolute flogging. And I see that Gaskin will get those check down passes and should do quite well as a bring back. Obviously, can't have a 4-6 Ravens entry. It's going to be one of a few lineups, but yeah, I think Lamar, Andrews, and Marquise Brown. I mean, if Lamar goes off and he's passing the ball a lot, they're the two that are going to be the main targets. Both could get there, or at least you'd guarantee at least one. Freeman's my weak link in this lineup, I think, just because Baltimore, the running back room is bizarre. But if he hits pay to at under 10K, and he had 58% snaps last week. I mean, if Latavius Murray's back, that obviously changes a few things. But it's just worth, it could be a difference maker. A lot of people are scared of that backfield, so potentially you could use it for a little bit of leverage.
Yeah, for sure. In reality, Miami are giving up points all over the field, so there's no real definite way to target them because Baltimore are going to be able to score any which way they want. It's, I guess, then how do you balance that Baltimore offense in your showdown lineups with the guys on the other side of the ball? So I think that's where it gets a little bit interesting. So yeah, I think there's value with the Miami guys because they're the underdogs. But
Baltimore's
defense hasn't been rock solid.
No, that's it. And if Miami can keep the game interesting, but that's where a lot of the lower ownership's going to be. And so there's definitely got to be a few Miami heavy lineups in my kit bag.
Yeah, that's it. All right, well, let's kick on, shall we? Main slate. Let's go to it's Monday here, Sunday there, and our first game is one of my clear stacks of the week, and that's Tampa Bay at Washington. Tampa Bay with a 9.5 point favorite line, 51 point total. Let's start off with a quote from Bruce Arians. Asked today if Tampa would pursue Odell Beckham Jr. No. Too many letters. I've already got AB. I don't need OBJ. Great stuff.
Yeah.
What a reason. What a reason.
I mean, that's why he's paid the big bucks to, I guess, he's worked out the correlations between letters and points. And,
clearly,
too many.
Must have done
There's
more
a
research
negative correlation. So,
Right,
love it.
That's it. That being said, Tom Brady is probably one of my absolute favorite quarterback plays on the week here.
Is he the chalk quarterback this week?
You'd think so. I think he would be, but it's chalk I'm going to eat because I think what you have here is just you have arguably the greatest team in the competition at the moment going up against a Washington defense that has really shied away from what it was last year. And looking at the amount of points that they're giving up to quarterbacks, Washington, I think I think they're even number one. Yeah, they're giving it the most draft stars points to the quarterback. So this is a smash play for Brady. And we know that even in these blowout games, Brady's on the field. The narrative is that he wants these records. He is out there for just to be the greatest, to put no other possible competitor into I mean, surely he's there. No one's going to get it, right? No, I know. But he just wants to break all the records, so he's out there passing the ball.
What's left? The 3-point bonus is easily in play every week with him, isn't it? So 300 yards passing is almost a floor.
Yeah.
And especially against Washington, like 400 might be the floor.
Yeah. So let's talk stacks. Really, Brady, Evans, Godwin, Evans and Godwin are going to be chalk here, I would imagine. You're looking at this team not not having Antonio Brown. Antonio Brown, I've seen some videos. He still looks hurt. He still doesn't.
So is it confirmed he's out? I thought he was
it's
trending towards coming back.
Look, he might. I think the boot is technically off, but some of the videos I saw from even just a week ago.
Yeah.
Matthew Betts shared some stuff on Twitter, which was good to watch. And yeah, Betts is saying that it's he's
friend of the show, Betts, by the way.
That's it. Friend of the show. Go check.
What did he say? I talked over the top of you
from preseason. But I don't think Antonio Brown plays, so I think Evans and Godwin are clear, great plays, stack or not. But I think if we want to stack this and we want to get different, Tyler Johnson's the guy that I'm keen to go to. So Tyler Johnson there at 6K basement price for a wide receiver. He had, I think, 5 for 53 last week. Like, he was used. He was there. He was out in the field.
Only if AB's not playing. If he's
of course.
I don't know. Yeah, look, I worry that it's a little bit thin, to be honest. But I think Evans potentially won't be that highly owned.
Really?
Being the more expensive option.
Sure. Evans is 14.
That's what I'm going to be looking at. What's the buzz around these pass catchers? I think Godwin will catch a lot of steam. And I think Antonio Brown will be, if he plays. I think you look at how much he's targeted and at the price discount. Evans, because you have to pay up potentially. Depends obviously how the week rolls out, he could be an under-owned player.
For sure. Now, be wary, Chris Godwin didn't practice on Wednesday, and Bruce Arians said it's wait and see for his status on Sunday. If he's all right, he should be pretty good. But again, foot injuries are a funny thing. So maybe, that's probably something to think about. And Evans is probably the guy that will make the most of that there. Now, Gronk, he's 6,700. He's pretty cheap there. Archie, tempted by Gronkowski. He played last week.
Did he play last week? Didn't he come out with back spasms?
Oh, gosh. I think you are right.
Yeah, yes. Look, I'm probably hesitant. Look, I mean, he gave us.
That's another reason to play Tyler Johnson. Let's be honest. If you've got,
Brate's not doing what we hope.
Yeah, that's it. Anyway, so bringing it back though on the other side, Terry McLaurin is probably the obvious guy that you'd bring it back with. Yeah. The one I'm considering though is probably more so is J.D. McKissick and Ricky Seals-Jones if Logan Thomas doesn't play, or Logan Thomas if he does play, because what the Tampa Bay Bucks seem to be prone to receptions by the running back. And of course that happens because the defense is so good. There's lots of third downs that the opposition has to play. J.D. McKissick is that third down guy. He's also been playing in 2-minute drills. We've seen how Antonio Gibson hasn't quite been he hasn't risen to that the top echelon that we thought that he might have been drafted in the first round in redraft leagues. So J.D. McKissick, his basement price, $8K. Love that. He's a guy that I'm definitely going to use to bring back in some of my Brady stacks. Terry McLaurin, yes, for sure. 13.8 is not too bad. But I think Ricky Seals-Jones is worthwhile if Logan Thomas doesn't play as well. So I'm going to do that there. But yeah, like I said, I think the cheapie here is Tyler Johnson, especially if Godwin doesn't play, especially if AB doesn't play. So watch that space. Risky is Terry McLaurin. He is boom bust. He really can either sink your lineup or make it for you. So he's not going to be many places other than these Tampa stacks that I'm going to run. But yeah, cash picks. Look, if Mike Evans is last man standing out there, then he is a smash for cash, I think. So yeah. There you go. No. I'm not going to play a Heineke stack, not at all.
No, people went down that road a few weeks ago, and that didn't end well, did it?
Nope.
They're going to have to throw it to keep up, and so potentially McLaurin has enough to get there. But
garbage time, perhaps. Yeah.
So it's pretty thin. You can easily see a Brady, Godwin, and then McLaurin being quite a chalky stack, I think. Going forward.
I think so. So I think, try
but
and get different.
Monitor news. I think these stacks, you've got to monitor who's practicing, who's playing.
Definitely. Next up, you got Pittsburgh versus Detroit. Pittsburgh 8.5-point favorites, of course. 42.5 total. Is there anything that you want to talk about in this game, Arch, because it's so low?
Just one player, and that's Najee Harris. That is all. There's no one else I'm interested in this week. They're such a low over-under of 42.5. Pittsburgh with the favorite team implied total of 25.5 is okay, but it's I'm not getting excited about it. And so Najee Harris just has the volume. He's probably my cash pick of the running back position this week. Like in total, I think he's worth paying up for just for that volume. But don't be tempted by Swift. With he might be 1,300 when a team implied total is only 17.
Yeah, that's ugly.
Scoring's going to be hard to come by, and I'm not interested. So, no, I'm not interested in anything on the Detroit side, but Najee Harris against Detroit, oh, baby. Yes.
What do you think about Deontay Johnson? Like, are they just not going to throw the ball at all, do you think? And Deontay's just kept out of it? Because he's shown to be a PPR monster when he's, the main thing. And Chase Claypool's dealing with an injury as well. So, Deontay Johnson's the clear one at the moment.
Yeah, to me, I think there's just going to be better options where there's going to be higher team totals and faster pace of play. I think they're just going to slow it down. They're going to win, and Najee Harris is going to have 100 touches. So
for sure.
Look, I don't think I'll have much of Deontay Johnson.
Fair enough. All right, well, let's keep going. We've got Tennessee taking on the New Orleans Saints. Tennessee, 3-point favorites. Probably a bit of a surprise packet for me, just how well they are doing. And obviously no Derrick Henry anymore. Looking at this, is it stackable? Yes, because the run game is so murky. I'm not going to touch anything when it comes to the Tennessee run game. I'm just not, especially against New Orleans. The one thing I will consider is a Tannehill, AJ Brown stack. I don't love it though. I really don't love it because AJ Brown is going to take Lattimore, and he's been playing really well this year. Lattimore, that is, and so AJ Brown, he's rocky, right? He's building. Like, he's had some good games, but he's still rocky, and I can't quite trust him, especially after pulling a 9.2 last week against the Rams. So looking at that, it's an interesting one. Julio Jones as well. I'm not a massive fan of Julio here, even though he is only priced at 10,000 on DraftStars. Like, that's really cheap, and we know what he can do, and he is healthy this week, surprisingly. So it's an intriguing one if you really want to push it, but for me, it's only a 44.5 point total. I think again, this is something that Kamara will play really well in. He's decent at the running back position. Interestingly enough, Kamara is the 5th running back on the week against a Tennessee defense that hasn't been amazing. Yes, it's getting better for sure, but hasn't been amazing. Kamara is the offense when it comes to New Orleans. Yeah. So priced under 17K, I don't mind that. I don't mind that as a bit of a contrarian play because I don't think he's going to be super popular this week because it's not a game that people will be getting around too much. But yeah, it's a really bit of it's an ugly situation. I don't love this game much aside from potentially a sneaky Tennessee stack. But New Orleans on the other side, who knows who's going to start? Trevor Siemian obviously started last week, bombed. So I don't love that. Really, the Tennessee defense is probably the main play that I want to get out of this game. So, yeah, I'm not a big fan of anything much here. Arch, what about you?
No, look, this game could just grind and be like just really underwhelm everyone.
Good.
I think there's just better games out there for pieces. Maybe a one-off AJ Brown. That's probably where I'm sitting. I don't think it's too murky in the Tennessee backfield to, even though they're 8K, McNichols, Peterson, and Deontay Foreman for crying out loud. We're talking about no, it's not worth it unless something happens. But no.
Yeah, get 2 injuries.
That's
one guy left standing.
Are we worried about Kamara's mild knee sprain? They've worked out some guys this week.
Of course, we have to watch the news. News, and they are working people out. So, so everything I say about playing people obviously is coming with the assumption that they will be healthy on game day. So there's still question marks about Kamara's availability, that's for sure. And if he doesn't play, then there's definitely no one in this game I want to play.
Yep. 5K tight end alert, we'll call it.
Sure.
Jeff Swaim. Is he the guy that we hoped Ferkser would be? He seems to be catching their red zone targets and getting touchdowns.
I'm going to say no, because I'm also looking at Michael Pruitt's history as well, and he caught a touchdown a few games ago. He's caught 2 touchdowns in the last 5 games as well. So I don't love, yes, Swaim's had 2 good weeks where he's had 4 catches both weeks and a touchdown for the last 2 weeks, but before that was Michael Pruitt. Who's to say they won't go back to that? I can't. Yep. I'm not gonna pick between these 3. I feel like Swaim, Pruitt, and Ferks are a bit of the same issue when it comes to the running backs here in the same team.
If we fade this game generally for the pieces,
sure.
Titans defense at 5,500. What do you think?
That's what I said earlier, mate.
No, I'm not listening to whatever you say, mate.
Thanks for that. Yeah, 5,500 for the Titans defense. I think that's a great pick.
Oh, yeah. All right, let's move on.
Better game here. We got Dallas taking on Atlanta. 8.5 point favorites of Dallas with their 55 point total. So 31 implied points here for Dallas.
Ooh, lots of points.
It's big. Vegas are loving it. Where are you at with this game, Arch?
I mean, this is going to be a game that you can target for sure. Dak, underwhelmed last week, didn't it? I mean,
oh gosh,
they almost got shut out for crying out loud.
That was crazy. And who caught the touchdowns? Oh, household name Malik Turner. Yeah. We all know that
guy. We could read through the Discord chat of like, why didn't you tell me to play?
Yeah, that's right.
Yeah, all in jest. Look, Dak stacks. I think $1,600 is a little bit cheaper than some of the other guys that have the high implied team totals. Potentially, people are worried about how Dak scored, especially if they just, box score surf and see, they did nothing. And so I think Dak is in play here. I think there's lots of different variations on stacks, and potentially this is going to be one of my 2 quarterbacks that I might target in my 10 entry mini. So I look here like Cooper as well. I love. I've said it before. I love quality players who've just burnt people the week before. He was the cash chalk at wide receiver last week. He was 10K, and people were like, Cooper at 10K. Oh my goodness! And they flooded to him. After he did nothing, he's gone up to 1,400. Like that's. That's a matchup thing, isn't it? Like
Big
their
time.
algorithm's seen the matchup, and so potentially Cooper's going to be, potentially he'll be sub 10% surely owned, maybe sub 5. And so if you can get Dak with a Cooper, and then I like 2 pass catches. You look at that many points, there's going to be 2. If for Dak to just go off, 2 Dallas players have to get there.
Yeah.
Schultz. No Jarwin, he's just going to be out there every play. He was there last week, but, the offense just didn't work last week. So I think Schultz is someone, he's in that weird, around just, is it the tight end 1 on Draft Stars scoring you were telling me earlier?
Schultz, he's 9,990.
Now, I think generally it's not a week to pay up at tight end.
No, I don't think so either.
But I don't mind a Schultz, and I'll try to fit him into 1 or 2 lineups. But, you could go a Cooper and Lamb. Together in a Dak stack, and I think the bringbacks, there's only 2 options. It's Cordero Patterson, who is just going to get the ball. That's the way they use him is outrageous, and it's awesome. Or Pitts. The defense for Dallas is quite good. Whether they can shut down Pitts, I think that when they know that he's the only guy, that's the way to do it. So I'm probably more leaning the Cordero Patterson bringback option, and especially at only 11K for his usage, I think that's still good value. He's a lot more pricier on DraftKings if you want to play DraftKings for that one more week. I like Patterson. What was I going to say? We look at 6K options. They help us get up to places. Old mate Zacchaeus.
Oh, it's okay.
Hiding up in the tree.
You're going to go Zacchaeus this week, are you?
I'm not going to.
Okay.
But
just want to bring
you can't ignore 2 touchdowns. I can ignore one touchdown being in there, but no Ridley. Potentially, there's a plan in place where he actually is going to be used a little bit more. He seems a little bit more interested in the Russell Gage, but at 6K, he might be worth a shout. I don't know.
Maybe. I'll leave that to the listeners to decide. But for me, I'm going to stay away from Zacchaeus. I think Zacchaeus is only outside, right? So he has got every shot of having to line up against Diggs, who's been a fantastic cornerback this year for Dallas. So in that respect, I'm going to probably avoid Old Olamide. But look, if people think he can repeat the red zone, the great stuff that he did, 2 touchdowns for sure. But yeah,
well, I wonder if they utilize Diggs with a bit of Pitts. Like they need to shut down Pitts, really. That's what. And so my thinking is the secondary pieces will have an opportunity to break off a big play.
Yeah, it's possible for sure. That's
I'm talking about a punt play here, Rowan. This isn't a cash pick.
No, this is definitely a punt play. Yeah, you wouldn't play Zacchaeus and Pitts in the same lineup then, but you wouldn't double stack that.
No. One Atlanta piece total. That's all.
Yeah, sure. For me, just on this, so last week, Matt Ryan was done the disservice or the absolute he wasn't given any credit, and he was priced at in the 8,000s last week, and we all missed it. And he went off for 30 odd points. He hit, what did he hit? 31.5 draft stars points last week.
Wow.
Priced in the 8,000s. That's not very that's
not
foolish
right
of us. That's not right. I actually don't mind a Matt Ryan stack. He is priced back in 11,700, and it's really easy to stack him because it's Pitts or Cordero Patterson. That's it.
Or both.
You can play both for sure. Like they're probably going to get 8 to 9 targets each throughout this game, and they're going to have to pass because Dallas, we know their offense. Although last week, whatever happened there. But look, I'm looking at this and I'm just going, look, I think Matt Ryan is actually a good contrarian stack on the other side that can save you some coin, and it's safer because you know exactly where these targets are going, and if it pays off, it's going to pay off pretty well. So I don't know. I what do you think? Do you think Matt Ryan is a possible stack here?
Oh, look, there's definitely a pathway to it, isn't it? We saw what Denver could actually beat up on the Cowboys. Personally, I think that after that beat up, that they're going to come out with a point to prove, and I don't think that Atlanta are going to be able to have their way with them, and so I'm more leaning the Dak side, Cowboys side. But absolutely, you could see Matt Ryan could keep up with them by throwing it around the place. And so, yeah, definitely don't mind a nice. I think it's a really good chance to get different. Like, I guess like how Kirk last week you were able to ride him a little bit against the grain against Baltimore, where everyone was on the Baltimore side with their stacks.
Yeah.
If you pair, Matt Ryan with the right Dallas bring back, I think that could be a really good lineup.
Yeah, that's it. What do you think of Zeke this week? Like Dallas, we talk about, Atlanta, we talk about their defense being rubbish against the pass, but they're in DVOA, they're 28th against the pass and 27th against the rush. Like, what do you have Zeke here? I quite like him this week.
Yeah, I mean, his usage of it, I think you just discount last week for the Cowboys unless we see it again. I think it's a one-off. And other than that, you see he's getting, lots of high-value touches. He's getting the looks where we want to see him. Yes, Pollard's involved, but the offense can handle that.
Yeah.
And so I think there's a good floor there for Zeke.
No, for sure. Love that. All right, let's keep moving. Yes. Patriots taking on Cleveland. We've got Patriots as 1.5 point favorites. Am I reading that correctly? 45-point total here. Is this stackable? I'm going to say no.
Yeah,
you can't stack this game. Mac Jones is not passing enough. Neither is Baker. Both of these are run-heavy teams. And I'm surprised the Patriots are favorites because I think Cleveland have got a better run game and they are better against the run on defense as well. So I'm surprised that I think this hits the under. 45-point total. I think this hits the under. The interesting thing here is you've got Damian Harris and Ramondre Stevenson dealing with concussion. And I'm pretty sure neither of them practiced today. And so that leaves pretty much Brandon Bolden to be the main guy, which is ugly, I know. But he's some of the film I've seen, he's when he gets the opportunity, he's been decent. And this offensive line at the Patriots knows what they're doing. Brandon Bolden is a guy that can also catch it out of the backfield as well. So I think he's a bit of a dual threat here. And he's at 9,400 on Draft Stars. I don't mind it. I don't mind it as a cheap running back play if Stevenson and Harris both don't get up. They both have to not play for Bolden to be worth playing at all. I think that goes without saying. But
even then, he might just be fool's gold as well.
It's possible. It's really possible because Cleveland's been great against the run.
Yeah, but looking at the pricing, it's not going to be like last week where it was ridiculous how many cheap value options we had to choose from. Yeah. Like you didn't even need to force in a 6K guy to make your lineups work. So look, I'm not excited against Cleveland.
Chubb, I'll play Chubb.
Yeah, play Chubb.
After last week, I'll play Chubb.
And I will play Harris if he gets up.
Really? Even against Cleveland's defense? Because I don't think I would. I mean,
I don't mind. 8,700.
Yeah. Anyway, there's really not much else here. Although, of course, Nick Chubb dealing with COVID. So if he doesn't get out of the protocols, then Deontay Johnson. 8K.
Yeah, smash that.
You smash that.
Yeah, that's the free square.
Definitely. What do you think
let's
of?
Move on. DPJ?
Yeah, DPJ. What do you think about?
Was that what you were going to say?
Yeah, I was. Donovan Peoples-Jones. I was going to say him. 6,300 on Draft Stars. It's not too bad there. He's shown that he gets these big plays. He's not going to get targeted much. Like that's the reality. But if he's a guy that can put 2 touchdowns on a game, and he's shown that Baker likes to throw it to him when he gets open, and when he gets open, it's usually for a nice play. Yeah. So, I mean, DPJ, what do you think?
Look, 60% of snaps without OBJ last week and only 3 targets. It's still a thin play,
It is.
but it's the yards per catch though, isn't it? So he doesn't have to do too much. It's going to be interesting. Where are the New England Patriots going to focus their defense? They love taking out a big guy. So are they going to focus in on the run, load that box up, and is that an opportunity for DPJ? Could be.
Yeah, it definitely could be. Keep in mind though, before he got injured, back against Arizona on the what was that, week 6? I think 4 catches for 101 yards and 2 touchdowns. The week before, 5 catches for 70 yards. So
yep,
he has had the target share.
And he's got he is a former 5-star prospect. Like, he is not some slouch who, an undrafted free agent. Like, he might he's pretty late drafted, but he has the pedigree. He just had no college quarterback to throw to, so he came to NFL limping. Much like Stephon Diggs started, but then he flashed really quickly. But yeah, I think DPJ could be someone who definitely with OBJ gone, I want to keep little tabs on for sure.
100%. All right, let's keep moving. Let me read you something, listeners, faithful listeners. Look, if you want to get better at DFS, but you're not sure how, well, one of the best ways to improve your return on investment is to join our Discord. And the way you can do that is become a mate of the pod. And guess what? It's only $2 Australian a month. We are not asking much. We would just love to come and hang out and chat and help us improve the pod a little bit. We really appreciate it. You get a chance to share your thoughts, discuss your process, put your screenshots up, brag, commiserate with each other, all that kind of stuff that DFS is, all that stuff it provides. So we're all in this together. Jump in to our Discord. We've had a great time with the guys that are in there currently, and we think that all of you would just love to get on board that as well. So let's join up, grow together. We'll even share some of our cash game lineups for the week. So all you need to do to get in on the action is go to patreon.com/the TFL podcast. And every tier is eligible. We will take you at any tier.
Can I be honest with you, Rowan?
I'm listening.
What are the extra higher tiers doing? like they're honestly, we offer you nothing extra unless it's just like, if you want to give us more. I'm going to just be straight up. Just do the $2 one. Don't go higher unless you want to. We won't stop you, but I'm not recommending it. You're not getting anything extra.
Man, you've just taken out everything that you've worked for. You've just taken it out of the shins. Well done, Arch.
I don't want to offer anymore.
No, that's fair.
This isn't a good ad. This is not a good ad.
You're a bad ad reader. Thanks for just, commandeering my ad and ruining it. For less than a cost of a cup of coffee.
Yes.
Once
and
a
it
month,
is.
Come join us at patreon.com/the TFL podcast.
Yeah. No, I love it.
That's it. Oh, dear. Next up, let's keep playing games. Oh, Campy, one of our Discord members, Arch, sharing industry secrets in show. Yeah, thanks, Arch. Of course he is.
Yes. Look, I don't want to be dishonest here, Rowan. Look,
there's a difference between dishonesty and just not saying anything. You idiot.
Well, I don't want to take $20 a month when I'm not giving them anything. It's just too much.
If they love us that much, I'm not going to say no.
Look, we've hit the point where we're pretty much covering costs of our special graphic now. So why not just do the $2? We might get more, Rowan.
It's true. No, seriously, everyone join up for $2. Not a problem.
Although I did hear a rumor that Campy is contemplating going up to the $5 level just for status.
Look, that's it. You get a special symbol in Discord, and you can say how great you are. We'll have a special Discord chat for just those who level
up. We're 44 minutes in, and we're not even we're about halfway. Let's get moving.
All right, let's keep going. Okay, Jets taking on Buffalo. Buffalo 13-point favorites, 47-point total. Buffalo with a 30-point implied total. Let's just go Buffalo all the way here and ignore the Jets, or not, Arch.
Yeah, pretty much, really. What happened last week? It was just gross, wasn't it?
Wipe that clean from our memories.
Surely that doesn't happen again against the Jets. How's the bloody schedule for them? Like, people with owning Buffalo players in their season-long leagues would have looked at the schedule and thinking, "Oh, beauty! I've got two weeks of awesome scores," and then bam, that was just awful. Look, Josh Allen absolutely is a cash pick for quarterback. He can do it all. He can do it on the ground against New Jersey. Look, they do play technically in New Jersey, though, Rowan.
Thanks for that little factoid.
East
there,
Rutherford. That's why I said it. Yeah, so I've lost the plot. But look, I'm not interested. I don't even know what I'm talking about. Can you tell me what I'm talking about?
Well, I think you want to say that you can play Josh Allen and you can play him with two Buffalo wide receivers. Although Cole Beasley is not practicing with a rib issue. So it's, just watch that. And also watch for Dawson Knox.
Yeah, I'm looking at Diggs, and I'm thinking, come on, man. His price is starting to, slide.
A little bit.
At what point are we thinking, we know his 2020 ceiling. Is that his 2021 ceiling, or has Sanders taken that away somehow?
John Brown is not Emmanuel Sanders. I think that's what we're learning. Emmanuel Sanders is better than John Brown.
Yes.
And that means that Diggs doesn't have to carry the load on the outside.
Yeah, and while they're winning, they're not going to force feed Diggs the ball. So look, it's a lot of salary going to Allen and Diggs stacks. Could be, and potentially the still name is there that it's probably still not going to be super under-owned like it probably should be under-owned, really. Because he's just not getting there as a ceiling.
No, he's not.
Beasley, I think people are loving Beasley, aren't they? And so it is just keeping an eye on where he's playing. I think Sanders is a good play this week, being the cheaper of the three options. Allen and two Buffalo wide receivers, you could just sort of rotate them through some lineups. I think is the way I'd be looking at if I'm going to go a Buffalo stack, which I'm not sure I am yet.
Sure.
Like I said, I'm condensing my player pool to just two main stacks. And so, really what this show is because, Draft Stars released their pricing 2 minutes ago. It's almost a bit of like a first look pricing show, isn't it, Rowan?
For sure. We're still working things out. That's why it's so conversational here.
So, yeah. And so that's why joining places like our Discord for any tier you want, is beneficial. But also keep an eye on our Twitter. We like to throw a few things out there as well every now and again. Probably not as much as we should. But no. I like Sanders. Elijah Moore is someone who, with Mike White being back, could be your bring back option here.
His target share the last couple of weeks has been fantastic.
Yeah. But you don't need to force bringbacks all the time. And I think that's game stacking. People think, two on the side of the quarterback, one on the other side. That's how you do a stack. You don't have to always do a bring back. And this is a game where I'm not potentially going to force it, but if I am, I do like a bit of more.
Yeah, for sure. What about so we've got Mike White back in quarterback. I'm not saying play him, but what about Michael Carter? He's been the dump off king in many ways. High value touches. Yeah.
So and I was talking to you earlier that I was looking at FF Spaceman on Twitter has his NFL database spreadsheet, which is outrageously powerful. And he basically scours the internet for stats and looking at high value touches. Not last week, the week before, he had 12 high value targets, like a lot of stuff in the end zone. And then over the last, I think, 4 weeks, he's just leading the league in high value touches, and so he's getting it. He hasn't got last week's on his spreadsheet at this stage, so I can't tell you how he went, but he might have had a bit of a down week, but he still had the volume. He had 13 carries, I think it was. So I think Carter is someone you could play for sure against them. But Buffalo, it's Buffalo defense when they're a good defense.
Jacksonville still only put 9 points up last week.
So probably leaning away from Jets players, really.
Yeah, for sure.
When I take a look at, when I step back, as much as certain players have been doing well, it's against Buffalo. I'm not really that keen.
Yeah, I agree. Let's move on. You got the Colts taking on the Jags. Colts are 10.5 point favourites with a 29 point total. Is this stackable? I think you can definitely stack the Colts, and I really like Wentz this week. I don't think Jacksonville quite replicate what they did last week, as good as Josh Allen, the sacker, interceptor, and fumble recoverer was. I think the Colts' offensive line will put a stop to that. Buffalo had a few offensive line pieces out last week, I believe. I like a Wentz stack. I think chalk here is Jonathan Taylor. He's chalk by quite a fair way, and he's great cash play for sure. But if you want to get a little bit different with this game, I think a Wentz-Pittman stack is very tasty. And you're getting Wentz here at 12,000, and you're getting Pittman also at 12,500. Like that's great. You're saving salary there. I don't necessarily think you have to bring it back on the Jacksonville side, but we do know that the Colts have lost some cornerbacks. Their secondary's been hurting a little bit lately, and like we saw what AJ Brown did to him, that was huge. And so Marvin Jones is still a guy that I think you can play on the bring back here from the Colts. So Marvin Jones though is probably the only guy. I mean, look, Jamal Agnew. Let's talk about Jamal Agnew.
Let's bring him up again.
He's $6.5K. He's real cheap. He's still getting targets. So look, against a secondary,
5 targets last week.
Yeah, look, it's okay.
Only 54% of snaps. Snaps went down after his 12-target effort in Week 8 against Seattle.
Yeah.
But against an easier defense, I don't mind a little. He could be another nice little 6K-er.
Yeah, look, I don't mind it at all. And I think with what do we got? 29-point total here implied. 29-point implied for the Colts. Pascal also at 6,900. Like if you're going to play a Wentz stack, then Pascal. Look, it's been a long time since he hit the end zone. It's been since week 2. But if Hilton's not going to get up and play, then Pascal, I think, is still the clear number 2 on the outside there. And
look, he has not dipped below 80% snaps.
He's
at
all
this
the time.
84% this week, 94% of snaps the week before, 7 targets last week, 8 targets the week. Like, you can't ignore it. Like, sure, the yards aren't there and there hasn't been a touchdown since, week 2, but
the targets are there.
It's PPR. He's going to catch it, and he's just under 7K.
Love it. So Zach Pascal, I think, is a pretty nice cheap play. They can get.
You might be talking me into a Wentz as my secondary stack this week, Ron.
Hey, look, Wentz has got he's been improving, so I like that a lot. I don't know if there's really anyone else we want to talk about here. The tight ends in Colt land, it's a dart throw, so I'm going to avoid both Mo Alley-Cox and Jack Doyle. Dan Arnold, though, on the other side, Jacksonville, again, he's only 6,300 at super cheap, and he's running a stack of routes. He's a guy in Jacksonville that I don't mind playing as well. So I won't be playing multiple guys from Jacksonville in any of my lineups, but if I'm going to play one, it's probably going to be Dan Arnold or Jamal Agnew or perhaps Marvin Jones Jr.
Yep.
Next up, Chargers taking on Minnesota. Chargers 3-point favorites, 52.5-point total. Love that. This is going to be a great game. Just talk to us about this game that's probably going to be very chalky, but a lot of fun.
It's surely is popular that everyone's going to see what Herbert did last week and the scores that he had. And so Chargers stacks, I think, will be aplenty. And they're going to see Allen seems to be the flavor at the moment. It's going to be interesting. And something, again, it's very early in the cycle. I want to see some places projections on who they think the field's going to go towards. Are they going to think, Mike Williams' ceiling from early in the season, maybe he draws the crowd, or Allen's recent efforts? And then we've got Eckler to deal with as well after, a down week and against Minnesota. I think that could be a good play, but you have to pay up for him, of course. But so many different options. Minnesota have a penchant to keep these sort of games close, so there should be a bit of back and forward, hopefully, to keep the points flowing. But for me, I saw a Herbert Allen stack, hit really well last week. I think that could work. And then I would bring that back with a running back on Minnesota's side. We've seen that the Chargers love to just open up some laneways for running backs. It's just, obviously I don't want to talk into any legal details or anything like that, but there is definitely a situation that we need to keep an eye on for fantasy purposes in terms of who's going to be running the ball for Minnesota. And if
I don't think we'll have to necessarily worry about it this week, but it's a future thing for sure.
Yeah, but is it going to weigh on performance as well for Dalvin Cook at 1,700? That's a lot of salary you're going to put in there. I think it's something I need to work through personally. What I want to play, but we saw last week as well against Baltimore, Kirk Cousins kept up with the team. Well, I mean, really, they went out for a big lead and then just went to nothing. As a Vikings fan, that just hurt me. Like, honestly, we just looked so good, and then just like, let's just stop playing. But Kirk stacks could be a way to your 52.5 point over under for the game. These are the games we want to sort of target. Maybe on the Kirk side is where we get different, but also benefit from that, where you can go a Kirk and a Jefferson and then bring that back with an Allen or an Eckler. I think that there potentially stacks that a good way to leverage the field who are flooding to Herbert.
For sure. Interestingly, Minnesota on their defensive DVOA, Minnesota were third against the pass. But when you look at fantasy points given up per game, Minnesota are sixth easiest to score points for wide receiver position. So it's a funny little thing that's going on there. So you just got to be careful, I think, with those wide receivers. I think, look, I still am a big fan of those Allen stacks. Mike Williams, though, I think, has a potential to kind of get back in the groove this week. So I like that. Interesting, Minnesota 26th against the rush, rubbish against the rush this week. So, I'm looking at Eckler as a pretty good play as well. Eckler and Cook, I think you have to choose. You can't play both because they're just so priced so high. But I think you're going to get pretty similar production out of either of those.
Tyler Conklin at tight end.
Yeah, love him.
Don't mind him at all. He's running lots of routes, and when he's running routes, he's getting targeted, and we're seeing some good red zone looks. I think that little screen options type stuff. So I think he, for his price again, is someone we can look at.
Chargers giving it the third most points per game to the tight end position as well. So I love that.
Yep, KJ Osborne at 6K is always has a potential to do something as well, but probably still a fairly thin play with Conklin. Probably
it's been a while. He was out.
It's been a while
for a week, but it's been a while. Probably a month since he's actually put up a decent
Chargers
score.
Chargers tight ends.
Dark throw.
Cook. I do like Cook, but he's gotten vultured too many times now that I can't trust him when it counts, and so I'm probably just going to steer clear of.
Yeah, I think the ceiling's capped on all of those guys. Like you saw Steven Anderson, Parham, and Cook all play incredibly well. But neither of them had the ceiling that you really wanted.
No. Yeah. So, I don't know. Cash picks, what do you think? I think maybe Eckler is someone who could...
he disappointed, but go back to it.
Yeah, and Dalvin Cook, if we feel that things are trending in the right direction. And, absolutely. And if he doesn't play, Madison
Smash
is in every lineup I do.
100%. That's it. Yeah, tell you what, if Chubb doesn't play and Dalvin Cook doesn't play, I'm just like 100% Deontay Johnson and Alexander Madison in all my lineups.
Yeah, and then we just have all the top wide receivers cycled through.
Exactly.
DFS is so easy, Rowan.
Oh, of course. That's it.
And they all scored nothing.
That's right. All right, Arizona take on Carolina.
Yes.
It's Arizona 10.5 point favorites, a 44.5 point total. I don't love this game at all. Arizona.
Who's chucking the ball on our other side this week?
PJ, what's his name? Walker. I was going to say PJ Tucker.
XFL MVP.
Yeah, that's right. He came and showed that he maybe isn't that much better, or maybe not better at all than Darnold the other week. So watch out for PJ Walker. I'm going to avoid Carolina everywhere. I'm not playing any Carolina whatsoever. Kyler Murray is questionable. We don't know whether we're going to see him or not. So let me just quickly check him. In the meantime, though, I'm looking at this and I'm going, look, if there's no Hopkins, if he doesn't get back, if AJ Green's not back either from the COVID list, then Christian Kirk is a pretty good play here. We saw him last week come out of the blocks and be the main wide receiver. We saw him score 16.4 points. That was 6 for 91. Like, that's great. That's great usage. So Christian Kirk is a guy that I'm pretty happy to play. I'm going to steer clear from Rondale Moore. He's just not getting, aside from one massive play back in like week 2.
But what if I really, really, really want him to do well? Does that come into it?
Yeah, it comes into you losing money. That's what that does. James Conner, though, on the other side, is going to get all the work.
How's the price bump? Woo!
I know,
14K.
He's 14K, but for the opportunities he's going to get, no Chase Edmonds. Eno Benjamin is not a thing in my mind. So James Conner's a gun. He's a safe play. James Conner's an absolute safe play. He's a cash pick, but I still think he might be like not rostered much at all.
Yeah, but I don't think the confidence of it's just a once-off.
Yeah, I think as well, James Conner's this guy that has the injury cloud over him and all that kind of stuff. But Arizona's got a great run game, and if you can benefit from that, then we saw it last week, 40 points as an 8K player last week, and no one played him. Like, no one had him at all. Like, no one. So
if only.
He'll be a little chalky, but I don't think as chalky as you might think. So James Conner, I like. Christian McCaffrey, on Carolina. He's there, but he's priced around the same spot as Dalvin Cook and Austin Eckler and Najee Harris. And I like all of those guys better than Christian McCaffrey this week, I think. So, and Jonathan Taylor. I like Jonathan Taylor better. So, yeah. But look, I might be poor choice in fading McCaffrey, but I'm going to fade McCaffrey this week.
Yeah, it's a funny thing where it's still the lowest priced McCaffrey we've seen for a long time, apart from last week. But it doesn't feel great against Arizona, does it?
No, it doesn't. Anyway, do with that what you will. I'm not going to play anyone cheap, really. I think Kirk's the cheapest. I'll go at 9,700. Arch, next up we got Denver taking on Philly. Denver, put Dallas to the sword essentially last week. Philly didn't quite get it done against the Chargers. Denver 3-point favorites, 45-point total. What are you doing with this game? It feels really kind of like it could be something, but it could also be really nothing.
Yeah, it could kill a lot of lineups, or it could make a lot of lineups, really. Hurts is going to probably be highly used in cash and highly used around the place just because he has a way of scoring fantasy points, even though he's not that good. And especially if Denver are the favourites, he's going to have to score a lot of junk time points at the end. So he's someone who could be in play. I'm not that excited to pair him with anyone. Devonta Smith maybe, but not real. Like, it's a pretty thin play. We're just looking at, it's a 45-point over-under. Yeah. Can Denver maintain some momentum from last week? Maybe. Probably not. I don't know. I'm just not that excited about this game. I think, Jerry Jeudy's come back. It's not as a condensed target share now.
It's muddied the waters, hasn't it?
And so it's just, it's hard for me to plant a flag on who to target. So we've got a murky wide receiver room. We've got a split 50-50 timeshare at running back but they're both under 9K, and it's almost tempting because,
Philly suck against the run.
Yeah, and Gordon didn't look that bad, and he scored. And so maybe they could be, I don't know.
They're going to get about 50% of the usage, both of them.
Yeah. Like, it's a just as pure a split as you can have.
Yeah. It's quite remarkable.
And at their price, it's tempting. I'm going to have to look into that one.
I just don't think ceiling is there.
Ceiling, of course. And so with the GPP, ceiling's not there. But if it potentially helps you get somewhere else in cash, and there's no other injury news. If there's no other injury news where, say, a Madison comes out as a smash play or a Deontay Johnson, if none of that happens, that's the only world I'd probably consider. But yeah,
for sure.
You're right. There's no ceiling there. But it's annoying. Fant's back from COVID apparently. So Albert O's out as a punt play tight end.
And again, Philly give up the most points per game to the tight end position. So it's not.
You're going to have to pay up. It's that murky tight end price at 9,000. It's just a bit awkward. It's just awkward pricing, awkward plays. And I'd rather not sweat over it on Monday morning, to be honest.
Fair enough. No, I hear that. Yeah, it'd be unlikely that I'd play anyone from this game.
Yeah,
no offense,
Tim Patrick keeps doing stuff, though, doesn't he?
But I can't. I just can't. No,
he's a value. Look, if you look at his DraftKings versus DraftStars pricing, he pops on DraftStars as underpriced. But you'd think another week with Judy in there that it's going to start to go up. But
the thing is, Judy's a slot, so Patrick's a clear outside receiver alongside Cortland Sutton. So yeah, there's value there. And if Sutton's definitely taking Slay, then look, Patrick's not a horrible play. He's not horrible. Dallas Goedert is interesting at 7K, pretty much, or 7,100. He's the number 2 receiver on at Philly, so I don't mind him.
Yeah,
but yeah, it's a funny game. Eagles defense.
None of it fills you with confidence, though, does it? No one thinks, this is the lineup if you've got one of them in it.
No, I think the Eagles' defense is decent. The Broncos have given up 29 sacks on the year. That's the second most of any team. So if you're looking for points on the defensive side, then the Eagles probably in line for a couple of sacks, if not a few more. Anyway,
great.
Last game of the main slate, we've got the Green Bay Packers taking on Seattle. We've got Aaron Rodgers hopefully coming back from his lengthy COVID stay, and Russell Wilson in line to come back and start, which is absolutely crazy. So, look, if I'm looking at this game, I'm going, is it stackable? Yeah, if Rodgers and Wilson are playing, it's stackable. Both sides are stackable. And, you'd play the Green Bay, you'd play the Aaron Rodgers, Devontae Adams stack, and that's expensive. It's going to cost you a lot of salary, but it's a play that could definitely go down very well.
Not as much as a Buffalo stack with Diggs.
No, that's true. Seattle are 24th in DVOA against the pass, so, not a pretty good matchup there for Devontae Adams and Aaron Rodgers. So I do like that. The other side, though, I don't know. Russell Wilson being back just always makes me love Tyler Lockett. And Tyler Lockett had a good game last week against, not last week, the week before, with Geno. Coming out of the bye, he's looking pretty good. So, look, I don't mind Tyler Lockett here. DK Metcalf and Tyler Lockett are both priced in the 12,000s. 12,870, 12,650 for Metcalf and Lockett. That's really cheap for what they can do.
Yep.
And again, we've seen Green Bay not being fantastic against wide receivers either. So I'm looking at this and I'm going, I don't think if Russell Wilson plays, I might play him as one of my main stacks this week.
Ooh.
Because, and then bring it back with Aaron Jones or maybe not even Aaron Jones. Heck, I might even play AJ Dillon because of the way they're splitting snaps at the moment. But in reality, it'll be a bring back with Devontae Adams. So yeah, I think you can definitely play this game. It's just a big question marks around the quarterbacks. And hey, look, it's one of the later games. So, I mean, that doesn't really mean too much on DraftStars anymore, unfortunately, with the late swap, the way that they do that.
But annoying.
It is a bit annoying. Chris Carson's interesting as well. He's designated to come back from IR. Apparently his neck's not sore anymore, according to old Pete Carroll.
Just neck's not sore. That's the prognosis. My neck's not sore.
That's right. So, but Chris Carson, he's under 9K.
Hey, Chris Carson, is your neck sore? Nah, it's not sore. All right, cool.
You're in.
Put it in the news.
That's right. So, if Carson plays, I wouldn't shy away from it too much. But
yeah,
he's just because he's so cheap. That's really the only thing.
Yeah.
But I think you could do a Wilson Metcalf stack with a Devontae Adams bring back. I mean, you have to play a few other cheap pieces, but
yeah,
that's Devontae Adams is a great play. So you can play him everywhere. He's safe.
If Rodgers is back, are you tempted by Randall Cobb at 6K? Have you mentioned him?
No, I haven't mentioned Randall Cobb. And even with Rodgers throwing the ball, he was still up and down.
Yeah.
So I'd probably. I don't want to go that thin. I think that's too thin.
Yep.
Any thoughts from you, Arch, as we wrap up?
No, let's wrap this thing.
All right. Everybody, thank you for joining in. If you thought, why don't they talk about the Sunday Night Football and the Monday Night Football games? Well, it's because we don't have any prices for them or anything like that.
Yes, that's
Thanks, DraftStars. They'll come out one day. So keep an eye on our Twitters.
Probably on the day.
Yeah, that's right. You can find
Actually,
me.
we want a partnership with them, so let's talk nice things.
Yeah, we do. Love Draft Stars. Everyone come and play Draft Stars.
It's the best daily fantasy you can play in Australia.
It is 100%
From next
best.
week.
You can find me at Row on the Boat. Arch. Everyone can find you at Row on the Boat TFL. Arch at Arch TFL. And of course, our main page at the TFL Podcast. You can find us on Twitter. We'll post some thoughts about the primetime games as we get closer to them. But
where do we talk the most about our primetime games, Ron?
So on Discord.
On Discord.
Come and join our Discord.
Yes.
That's where you get all the good stuff.
Slick. Absolutely.
$2 a month. Thank you very much, everyone, for joining us. It's been a lot of fun. And may all your lineups do well. Bye.
Unless it's against us.